You know what, Mandy, and this is I'm going to be selfish here because as you know, hold on.
Uh,
You know, wrestling fans can be very selfish.
Yeah.
And I know you have a life outside of the ring. Obviously, you're living your best life outside of the ring, and you're very, very happy. That's all fine and good. Yada yada yada.
blah blah
But
blah blah.
I miss you, Mandy. I miss you.
Oh, I miss you too. And I
Like I
do miss
just
it. I miss it for sure. Even though I'm having a great time and I'm doing great, but I do miss it. Of course I do.
All right. Now that I have the two of you here together, I have to, say something that has really bothered me for a lot of years.
Mm.
You both destroyed Otis, and he has never been the same ever since.
good point.
He was the hottest babyface in the company. He has never had the push ever since. He's not even going to be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal this year.
Oh,
Any regret to what you did to that poor guy? He was such an entertaining guy. You broke his heart. You are a jerk, Nick. But I mean, hey, years later, the guy's career, his trajectory completely changed because of the two of you.
mm.
Thoughts?
Oh. Nick, you may have to take this one.
Well, you know what? Sorry, it's showbiz, kid. It's not for everybody. So
Still
yada
real to
yada
me.
yada. Yeah, sorry. First of all, I'm glad you brought that up. This is not my interview; it's Mandy's. But you take over in a second. But one of the most beautiful stories I've ever been a part of in my entire life of pro wrestling that wasn't just ripped up one day, 6 weeks in, that wasn't just thrown out there and didn't work, blah, blah, blah. And we went through it anyway, got force fed shit. None of that. This beautiful story for the entire, from day one, I envisioned 60 to 80,000 people cheering as Mandy punched me in the balls as the 80s bad guy with my collar up, dropped to my knees as she jumped in Otis's arms while everybody can relate in the crowd and they laid a smooch on each other, was the moment I was waiting for WrestleMania. And it happened on a soundstage with no fans after three or four takes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, me too. It was a little bit of a letdown. I mean, it was, yeah.
Now, Mandy, I've also known Nicholas for a lot of years. How grizzled and angry was he during this time period?
I don't remember him being super angry during it. I remember him having like a pretty good positive mindset because he was he's been in the business way longer than I had.
Nice backhanded compliment. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it was just I don't know. That feels like so long ago too, which is just crazy. I can't believe that even went on.
It really was. And I wasn't extra angry because here's a part of it. Because we were at that soundstage and sometimes doing promos with a lot more leeway than we normally would get. And it might be 12 midnight or 2 a.m. or something. And there's no one there going, well, you didn't say but it was a really good promo. You're like, we just got to go and kind of use a lot of our own instincts on some pieces. Sonia and myself, or across with Mandy, or even with Otis in the mix. And I feel like we really made him it was a classic 80s movie where we were just messing with the nice guy. And it was finally going to all pay off. And so in that couple of months, I wasn't the old grizzled guy. I was having fun because I knew the end of the story and the big payoff. I knew it was going to be great. And it's a bummer that it wasn't in front of everybody because they could all relate to it. But it was it's a sink or swim time for several different stories in that situation when you don't have Vince there, when you don't have writers over your shoulder going, no, I need you to say it this way. Like, no, we know the emotion. We know where we're going. Let us have this. And we had that leeway. And it was awesome to watch Mandy, like, who was already good, like, get better at wrestling. And the important part, the selling, the getting people in the seats, like being either a jerk or nice to Otis or back and forth to everyone. It was a really beautiful work by everybody, including Otis. What a friggin' sweetheart. But you could just see it on his face when he would get like dissed a little bit. Like, it hurt for real. And I loved that. I really thought that helped our story. What do you think, Mandy?
I agree 100%. And I just feel like it was such a learning experience too for us. Like, like you said, I mean, having to do that with like no fans and doing that, it's such an intense storyline. But like, I mean, the good news is with social media, we were able to really captivate, like, you know, we our numbers on social media were extremely high, and they were insane. Thank God for that aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, I'm just like thinking of Otis now that you say it too. Like, and I'm thinking like at least our kiss was like pretty intimate though. Like, you know, it was really quiet. There wasn't that many people around. He really had the best situation with that one. But yeah, I can't agree with you more.
I just realized something.
Yeah.
Nick. You're William Zabka. You're that Zabka guy. You're like you really are that guy from Back to School and Karate Kid. Like that's
Yes.
you, man. Holy
I've been
shit.
saying that for 20 years.
My God. My God.
I am an amalgam of all 80s bad guys named Blaine with their collars popped. That's me. It's real life. It's just the sleeves are cut off. That's it.
It's real life for you. All right. So
Yes.
So Mandy, and again, I'm a big fan. Listen, I can be petty. All right, I can also be petty. I'm watching NXT.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tuesday night, and they're talking about double champions, and they're talking about Stephanie McCare, and they're talking about Seth Rollins, and they're talking about Becky Lynch. I don't know. Do I have my facts wrong or something? But shouldn't Mandy Rose been mentioned on NXT Tuesday night? Hello.
Hello. Listen, Twitter is just something else. I mean, I was like dying laughing last night because like these people are calling me out. The community thing, whatever that is. What is that? They
Community notes.
Community notes called me out. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so dumb. You're getting called out by community notes. You didn't, you're not considered a double champion. You unified them." And I'm like, and then there's like a few people sticking up for me. They're like, "Well, she did obviously, win that match, which made her have that title. And yes, they were unifying them, but technically she was." And I'm like, why are we so specific here? Like, can't I just get my flowers? Like, I was a double champion. Where, like, why can't I guess I don't know. It's just wild to me. I'm like,
We need to
you guys,
end this
I mean, you guys
Mandy
know
erasure immediately.
Seriously. And you guys have been in the business and know probably way more than me. But like, am I considered a double champion? Like, what is the actual like fact here? I don't know. Or does it have to be so specific? Like,
Tommy?
I don't know.
Well,
yeah, Tommy.
I was the last hardcore champion.
Oh God!
And then, would you shut up? I was the last hardcore
Were you
champion.
in ECW?
But then Rob Van Dam and I unified it, and they were like, "No, Rob was the last hardcore champion." I go, "No, I was the last guy to hold the title, and he never held the title. They just unified it, and they got rid of the title." So I'm all for what you saying. You're the double champion. I agree. Like wrestling, it's always there's this gray area, or it's this interpretation. You cannot base anything upon facts because it's not real.
I like that. That's
I would
good.
also like to stress that when the world was shut down, just so we know our host nation, he was happy, Nic Nemeth. The best time of his career when he wasn't grizzled and everything was when the world was shut down. Just want to tell everybody that one. That's a tidbit that just went.
Now hang on. I was not pro COVID. Let's be honest.
You definitely had your moments. You weren't all, dandy every day.
One of the best times of my career. There was no fans.
There's no fans. I walked every whenever we would do TV, I'd walk in with my 2 cases of seltzers and I'd put them in the refrigerator. And then I would say, let's see when we start going, and the promos will be better.
A hat and a mask, and I was good.
What's
deal with the people.
Yes. The double championship with an asterisk is much less important than this. When you have a generic heat already because you're hot, so the internet gets to hate you. So then when you're like doing well, they hate you even more. And then when you get even better at wrestling, they get to hate you already. So then when they already don't want you to be a double champion, they're the first person to say that, but they would say it for someone that they like. So here's the best thing that I could possibly say was I loved that Mandy was good at wrestling, but hot enough to where she could get so much extra heat from smart marks online who think you can't be that hot and be good. And she went above and beyond to do it. And it was some of my favorite absolute times was going, yeah, if you didn't back it up in the ring, I'd be the first person to say. And when you did, it made me feel so good, not just in general because we're working together, but because everyone online has to go like, well, I guess she's pretty good. I don't know. Like that's like, that is a huge win against that community, I think.
Thank you, Nic. Those are very nice compliments of you. And I do, yes, I think that was a big part of it too. And that was even the time when we worked together. I mean, then like, you know, years later with my NXT run, I feel like obviously I improved so much. And then I was feeling like I was getting that recognition and, you know, love from the fans for the first time. I feel like I had my, you know, I had my fan base, like you said, because I'm hot. But I just felt like it was so hard to get the fan, you know, the diehard wrestling fans of thinking that I'm not just here for, you know, to become famous or obviously just because of my looks. And it was just always constantly proving myself. And then I feel like I did in NXT. But yeah, lately, maybe because I've been out of the game for a couple of years now, you know, they're just so quick to fact check me. I'm like, damn, like I was getting my flowers and now it's like, shit. I'm like, can't you guys just give me the compliment that I had 2 belts at the same time?
And I got to be honest, I'm kind of surprised that you haven't come back. Like I thought you really were, because you accomplished a lot. You went back to NXT. You were the star of NXT. You know, Toxic Attraction was huge. I think Gigi Dolan and JC Jane are just getting their footing since that breakup of Toxic Attraction, because I really enjoy both those women. I think they're fantastic. But like all right, you're gone, you leave, there's circumstances around it, but it wasn't like a bad breakup. Like, I just don't understand why there's no mention of you at all. Like, you accomplished so much and you were such a big part of NXT. Like, I'm just shocked. Like, there's never any mention of you at all. Does that surprise you at all?
It does, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I asked the same question you're asking, to be honest. I don't know. I really don't know what it was. You know, I think like circumstantial, and there's been a lot of people in the company that have, you know, things happen and things, you know, time goes on and they come back and it is what it is. It's a business, right? At the end of the day. And I think they usually look at it as like that. It's a business. But I have no idea like what it is with, I don't know. I thought maybe I'd be back too, wrestling in general, but you know, just the cards right now for me, it's like I'm doing really well, and like, does it make sense for me to go back to wrestling? I don't know. That's something that I'm still unsure about. I like I said, I've never, you know, hung up the boots and said I'm done. I'm still young and all that. But if it made sense, I would definitely consider it. But yeah, you're that question. I ask myself a lot too, so I don't really have a good answer because I don't know.
Sometimes, you know, they show people who are like work for different companies and they're like, hey, they surpassed this time on this person for this guy in TNA or this guy in AEW. Well, not AEW, but you know, they would mention something else. And
right.
I really think sometimes when, no matter what the case, like the idea is they let you know when you're done there and you kind of let them know. And maybe that's part of like, oh yeah, okay. Every time there's a little thing, we'll just do a little erasing there and just not mention it. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it's not. But most importantly, you kind of alluded to like, what kind of a juicy story would it need to be for you to lace them back up? What would it have to be? Something you've never done, something special, reuniting with somebody? Like,
that's a good question. Yeah.
Because I have $800 cash. No, I don't know.
Listen,
and we could round up
more than that.
Okay, 850, but I got to put it over 2 cards. No, what would you go like? Oh man, I could really, or would it be like I'd really like to work with this person or this story, or we know you don't need to come back. That's what gets you the best stories. What would it be, you think?
I mean, I don't know, because it's one of them things where how much time does it take for people to forget things too, right? Like I feel like Toxic Attraction was such a big staple in NXT at the time, and I feel like just the storyline and what went on, you know, how we all kind of mesh together, but we're all so different, the three of us. So I just feel like that would be kind of a cool way to get back and get the girls kind of back in the groove as well. I know they've been on TV and you know, you know, Dave, you said they're amazing women, but it's like, just to get them, I feel like we just had something so great going on at that time. And obviously everyone can admit, and the fans loved it. So I feel like that would be good. Or something just really not expected, because that is the expected, I think, situation. So I think something, I don't know. I haven't really sat and really, you know, thought about it too much. I just feel like you said, Nick, it has to be something that's very juicy for that matter. You know, you're very creative. I'm sure you got something up your sleeve.
I can text you all of them.
I know.
Just after
we'll chat later about it, so we don't give away too much.
Yes, no
too
spoilers.
much out on here. Yeah.
What about a Royal Rumble appearance, like a one-off?
Yeah, I've thought of that for sure. I don't know. Kind of like we mentioned, I don't know. I don't know if they look at me like they would accept me back in a way. I don't know how they feel. I've never had a conversation, but I don't know. Do they think, I don't know, are they really offended with what happened? I don't know. Are they maybe they just don't want to be associated with me anymore in a sense, because, you know, I feel like I'm a little bit erased in certain scenarios. I mean, NXT did mention me not too long ago. I saw like a promo package when they were talking about the women's champion, or the women in general, of like evolving and all that, which was cool. So I'm like, okay, that gave me a little hope, a little glimmer of hope of like, oh, okay, I got a little recognition there, which was cool. But yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like I am a little bit like erased from their Rolodex of, I don't know, superstars. I don't know. I could be wrong though.
Well,
No,
you know,
trust me, I get it.
maybe this ignites something. You know, maybe, you know, hearing you say that you're interested and there is some creative ideas. Maybe gets the juices going a little bit. But for you, when it was over and you had to step away, was it a complete separation? Like, did you keep in touch with people, or was it like, I gotta completely separate myself from this?
I definitely kept in touch with a lot of people. I really became very close with a lot of the girls down in, you know, in NXT. Obviously, you know, JC and Indy Hartwell, I became, you know, very close. And I used to stay with her a lot because I was, you know, driving from South Florida to Orlando. So we became super close. We're still close. Roxanne and Cora, you know, was really close with them. So we still stay in touch. I always catch up and, you know, see how they're doing. And, you know, some girls on the main roster, obviously, you know, Sonia, I was the close with, and I stay in touch a little bit, but I feel like once you get out of it, it's like, you know, there was a sense of like, obviously a little relief and weight off my shoulders in a sense of like the freedom aspect of it. So I just felt like my mind was like, okay, well now what am I doing? And, you know, how do I, you know, turn this side hustle into, you know, a bigger business that I can really monetize off of, and I can really expand and, you know, do some of the things that I wanted to do, but I was kind of constricted and I couldn't really do them. So I just felt like my mind was just like so much more open to things that now I can do. And I kind of like stepped away from that world. But there's times that I always, you know, want to catch up and check out and see what's going on. And obviously with social media now, I can't, like, I'm almost forced to be. But I will say, you know, my fan base is really amazing. And as much as they, you know, they love to attack me for times like this when, you know, they want to fact check me and all these things. But I will say, after, like, it's been a little over 2 years since my departure with them. And I feel like they're still very much connected. Like, I feel like and in the podcast probably helps in me talking about wrestling stories and things come up, but it's like, I do feel like they're still there for me, which is cool. I don't know how long that lasts for, you know, I'm young and I'm new to this world. I don't know. I didn't know a lot about it going in. So I just feel like that's really cool. And I really hope they do stay with me, whether or not I do get back into wrestling, because I do try to stay connected with, you know, appearances and signings and such like that, because, you know, we all know they are the most loyal fan base out there. So I appreciate them, because I think it's, you know, what keeps me going as well.
They'll never forget you. Also because
I love that. I'm glad.
you were taken away from them, and we all want closure, right? Um, and when you're taken away, people like it's you get, oh, what about the what ifs? But also like you were really, really hitting your stride. And then the best part is you get to see your work when you do conventions and WrestleCon, like and stuff they're doing of how much people really do appreciate you as well as your peers. Um,
Yeah.
because I mean, hell, you were a star where I feel everyone's like, but she could have been a mega star if this opportunity happened, because the work you did in NXT was just next level, and like you were on that path of like the WWE. This is our person. She came up. We bring her back down. And like Nick said, you improved every single thing. Your promos, we praised you every week here. Your promos, your in-ring work, and just overall like how you connected with the audience pretty much as a bitch, you know?
Mhm.
And
Thank
so
you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate
Only
that. And
place
you
you could
guys
say
did.
that is right here on
Yeah. Yeah.
but
And
I
I
mean
do
that's
remember
why the
you guys did
connection when
that.
it's taken away from you, like we just had Kevin Von Erich on here who's 20 years past me and they still remember him for world class. For me, ECW taken away like this, and people, I still go out there, and the moment I go out there they chant for something that they loved and they want to talk about it. And that same stuff I know happens for you. And then how you continue to be the person that you are is why people still want to come and talk to you
Oh
and
my
see.
God, Mandy, if you
Thank
made an
you.
appearance at a Rumble, the pop would be insane. Like I
Oh,
know that people will remember. And by the way, I got to say this: Nick is in Australia. Okay,
yeah,
it's
that's right. You are, right? I thought I
it's
saw that.
he wanted to be a part of this interview so much. It's 2:30 in the
Oh,
morning.
is it
2:30 in the
really?
morning where he is
Oh,
right now.
I
So
love
like
it.
that
It's
tells you
the
right there.
yeah.
Like I
No,
mean,
Nick's the
I don't
best.
care. I don't care who was on the other end. I
Well,
ain't getting
wait,
up at
Dave,
2:30 in the
you
morning for
you
anybody.
kind of just skipped over. She just said I was the best, so it's you kind of couldn't hear it. But